Time is the one currency you can earn back. Every second you waste is a piece of your future slipping away. Success isn't built in one big moment. It's built in the small choices you make every single day. Procrastination whispers, lies telling you there's always more time. But the truth is, there isn't. If you keep trading your purpose for distractions, you're re-sacrificing the life you could be living. The question is, will you keep wasting time or will you take control right now? Time is the only resource you can never get back. Go, think about this for a moment. If you lose money, you can work hard and earn it again. If you miss an opportunity, sometimes life gives you another one. But when you lose time, it's gone forever. Every second, every minute, every hour that slips through your fingers is a piece of your life you will never be able to reclaim. Time is the most valuable currency we have, yet it is also the one we spend most carelessly. We treat it as if it is unlimited, as if tomorrow is promised, as if we have an endless supply of days waiting for us. But the truth is, we don't eat. Each morning when you wake up, you re-handed RSS hours. That SE 440 minutes. That S 816 400 seconds. How you choose to spend them determines the quality of your life. Yet so many of us waste those precious hours on things that don't truly matter. Scrolling endlessly, overthinking, procrastinating, or doing things that add no value to our growth. We say, I'll do it later, but later often becomes never. Imagine time as sand slipping through an hourglass. You can flip money, you can flip opportunities, but you can flip time. Dissertations. Once those grains fall, they're re-gone. That is why the most successful people in the world guard their time fiercely. They know that wasting an hour is like throwing away a chance at progress, a chance at growth, a chance at building the future they desire. You look at your own life. Think about the goals you've set, the dreams you've carried for years, the promises you made to yourself. How much closer would you be if you had used the time you wasted? Every wasted day pushes your dreams further away, while every focused day brings them within reach. The difference between where you are and where you want to be is simply how you spend your time. Your time is not waiting for you. It does a pause when you retire. It does a slow down when you re-distract it. It keeps moving forward, no matter what you do. And that's what makes it so powerful and so dangerous. Because one day, you'll look back and realize how much of it you let slip away without truly living, without truly chasing what you wanted, without truly becoming who you were meant to be. Small daily actions create big results. When we think about success, too often we imagine a giant breakthrough moment, a single decision, a lucky break, a magical day when everything finally changes. But real success doesn't arrive in one big event. It's built quietly, steadily through the small actions you repeat every single day. It's not what you do once in a while that defines your future. It's what you do consistently, day after day, choice after choice, hour after hour. Think about how a mountain is formed. It doesn't rise overnight. It's shaped over time, layer upon layer, by small, seemingly insignificant changes that eventually create something massive. The same is true with your life. Every small decision, every moment of effort, every bit of time you use wisely adds up to results that feel extraordinary later on. What looks impossible today becomes inevitable tomorrow if you keep showing up. The truth is, you don't need to overhaul your entire life in a single day. You don't need to work Ursa's hours non-stop, burn yourself out, or wait for some perfect plan. What you need is consistency. If you just dedicate sensors minutes a day to learning, building, or growing in the area that matters most to you over e-bite bashers hours in a year, imagine what skills you could master, what progress you could make, what opportunities you could create with that kind of steady investment. But here's the trap. Because small actions feel small, we underestimate them. We think skipping one workout, one hurt, one day of procrastination doesn't matter, 5 minutes wasted is nothing. But those little moments accumulate, and before you know it, they become your habits. And your habits shape your destiny. The life you live right now is nothing more than the sum of the choices you've made consistently. If you've been careless with time, you'll see it in your results. If you've been intentional with time, you will see it in your growth. Every expert you admire started with small steps. Every athlete, every entrepreneur, every leader began by doing something small daily without stopping. They didn't wait for motivation. They relied on discipline. They didn't rely on giant leaps. They focused on steady steps, and those steps turned into unstoppable momentum. That is the secret. Momentum is built in the little things. Ask yourself, what could you achieve if instead of wasting your hours, you redirected them into meaningful, focused actions? What if, instead of scrolling endlessly, you read a book that expanded your mind? What if, instead of complaining about your situation, you worked on improving your skills? What if, instead of waiting for the right moment, you used today to take one step forward? Small changes create big shifts. Small actions build big lives. Small uses of time decide whether you're moving towards success or staying stuck exactly where you are. Every moment matters. Every choice matters. Every bit of effort compounds. What looks insignificant today will one day be the very thing that separates you from the crowd. Procrastination is the enemy of progress. Procrastination is one of the biggest thieves of our potential. It doesn't come crashing into our lives with noise and chaos. No, it sneaks in quietly. It whispers in our ear, you can do it later. There's still time. Tomorrow will be better. And we listen because it feels safe. It feels easier. It gives us the illusion that we're in control, that we choosing when to act. But in reality, procrastination is choosing for us. And what it chooses is delay. We tell ourselves, waiting for the perfect time. We convince ourselves that once we feel ready, once the stars align, once everything is just right, then we'll finally begin. The perfect time doesn't exist. There will always be reasons to wait. Too tired, too busy, too stressed, too uncertain. If you let excuses dictate your actions, you'll spend your whole life waiting. And while you wait, life does a pause. Time does a stop. Opportunities don't sit around waiting for you to finally show up. They move on. Think about how many dreams have been buried by procrastination. People with incredible potential, people with talents and ideas that could have changed lives, held back by the habit of saying, not now. How many books were never written because someone kept saying, I'll start tomorrow? How many businesses were never built because someone thought, I need more time to prepare? How many lives stayed stuck because people convinced themselves that waiting was safer than trying? The truth is, procrastination doesn't just delay progress. It destroys momentum. The longer you wait, the harder it becomes to start. Every day you push something off, the resistance grows stronger. Like trying to push a car that's been sitting still for years, it takes 10 times the effort to get it moving. But once you start, once you take action, momentum begins to work in your favor. That's why the hardest step is always the first one. Procrastination is comfortable, but comfort never creates change. Comfort keeps you exact. And if you're not careful, one day you'll look back and realize that the time you thought you had plenty of is gone, that the opportunities you thought would come again never returned, that the dreams you thought you could start someday expired because someday never came. You have to understand life does a wait, time does a wait. If you want progress, if you want growth, if you want success, you cannot afford to keep postponing it. You cannot afford to keep saying later when what you need is now. Every day, you let procrastination win. You're giving up a day of your future. And the scary part is, you don't even realize how much it's costing you until it's too late. That's why procrastination is the enemy of progress. It doesn't just take your time, it takes your dreams, your opportunities, your momentum. And the longer you allow it to stay, the more it robs you of the life you could be living. Choose purpose over distractions. We live in a world full of distractions. Every beep, every notification, every scroll is designed to steal your attention. Companies spend billions making sure you stay glued to a screen, lost in endless loops of content that entertain you, but never truly move you forward. And the sad truth is, most people give in. They hand over their hours, their focus, their energy to meaningless activities that add nothing to their growth, nothing to their goals, nothing to their future. But here is the reality: you can live a life of purpose. If your time is consumed by distraction, purpose requires sacrifice. Purpose requires that you make choices every single day about what deserves your time and what doesn't. And the harsh truth is this: every minute you give to distractions is a minute stolen from your dreams. Ask yourself, how many hours have you spent scrolling through other people's lives while neglecting your own? How many times have you said, I don't have time, when in reality, you did? You just traded it for entertainment, gossip, or endless noise? Time itself isn't the problem. The problem is what you prioritize. The problem is not the lack of hours in a day. It's just the lack of intention in how you use them. Think about the difference between someone who wastes their time on distractions and someone who chooses purpose. One spends hours lost in comparison, envy, and entertainment. The other spends those same hours building skills, nurturing relationships, and moving closer to their goals. Over weeks, the difference may not look like much, but over years, it becomes the gap between mediocrity and greatness. The people who achieve extraordinary things are not necessarily smarter, luckier, or more talented. They are just more disciplined with their time. They know what matters and they guard it fiercely. They don't allow distractions to steal the hours meant for their future. They understand that focus is the most valuable asset in a world full of noise. Choosing purpose doesn't mean you never rest or never have fun. It means you re-intentional. It means you don't let distractions control you. You control them. It means you decide where your energy goes instead of letting the world decide for you. It means you live aligned with your goals instead of drifting through life chasing every shiny object that appears in front of you. Every time you choose distraction over purpose, you remaking a trade. You retrading progress for comfort. You retrading growth for entertainment. You retrading your future for temporary satisfaction. And those trades add up. They determine whether you look back with pride or with regret. At the end of the day, your time is your life. How you spend it defines who you become. If you want to live with meaning, if you want to create impact, if you want to see your dreams turn real, you have to choose purpose over distractions again and again, day after day, moment by moment. Time is life. How you spend it determines who you become, what you achieve, and the legacy you leave behind. Every second wasted is a piece of your future lost. Every moment invested is a step toward the life you dream of. The truth is simple. You cannot afford to keep throwing away the most valuable resource you will ever have. Success is not waiting for you tomorrow. It's built in what you do today. The small actions you choose, the discipline you show, the focus you protect, these are the building blocks of greatness. Procrastination and distraction may feel comfortable in the moment, but they are stealing your potential, stealing your future, and stealing the best version of you. So make a decision now. No more excuses. No more waiting. No more wasted time. Choose purpose. Choose progress. Choose action. Because the time you have right now is all you guaranteed. Use it wisely, and it will build a life you are proud to live. Stop. Stop wasting time. Your future is waiting for you to begin.